Hello, my name is Ismirlian and I'm the Conveying Product Engineer here at Novatec.
Hi, I'm Fred Eichorn, the Engineering Manager for Controls at Novatec.
And today we're going to go through a quick setup of your Auto ID Plus system. Fred, can you walk us through that on this FX3 we have here?
Sure. Even though the QSC ID Plus system has its own PLC, since there's no HMI involved with that, we can configure that through the FX3 controls.
Okay.
So through the system setup page, we can get access to the QSC configuration page. So pressing the QSC configuration page, you can see here we have all these different numbered ports. And so those are referring to each of the individual ports on the QSC cabinet.
And that's for the maximum that's available for a single cabinet.
That's correct. So you can see up here, this is indicating cabinet number 1. And you can see this is each of the complete 48 possible ports that could be, as you mentioned, in a single QSC manifold. So we can, when we're communicating and talking to the QSC, then go ahead and assign, for instance, the material number that's associated with that particular port. Now, that would normally be, say, on most QSCs, on a smaller QSC, we have the ability to have 6, say, 2-inch material lines connected to it in one single column, which would be all the same material. So then we could just easily just go in here and we can set those all to be the same material, and we can do that for all 6 of those. And then we can also skip them, if, for instance, maybe if there's some unused ones, we're not using this 5th or 6th port because the manifold, the fan tail is only capable of 4 materials, for instance.
Yeah, and that would be configured during the quotation and setup process by your sales representative.
Exactly, and if your needs change in the future, we could always go ahead and swap a fan tail out, reconfigure this, take those 2 blank ones that aren't being used, and then go ahead and assign it to that same material, and now you have a full complement of 6 for that material. So we can go ahead and do that for every single port. We can simply just save that, and then we can go ahead and we can connect to the next QSC if we have one. And then that would then show a second one here. We could click it and do the same thing.
So that gives you the capability of utilizing all the LED lights that are on the fan tail manifold.
Right. So that's associated on the material side. So now we also have the station side. So as you saw, we have a remote I/O box that's associated with our destinations or our signal side of things in order to proof it. That we have down here. So we have the ability to assign one of those controls to this. So we can see that we can have a 16, a 32, or a 48 station Auto ID output type pulse system for the QSC. Very similar to our Auto ID on our normal system, but this is designed specifically for the QSC. So you can see we can have 16, 32, or 48. So let's say we have a 32 station version of it. So now there's 32 stations that could be associated with our 48 port QSC that we have.
And then once you make those changes to that particular one, you have to restart the PLC.
Exactly. So I could hit the restart PLC, that values would already have been assigned and written to that PLC, it reboots, and now it's using that configuration and is looking for the remote I/O box that's typically up in the ceiling that is wired into the flex line hoses, and now it knows it's there, it talks to it and starts scanning and sending the outputs to pulse through. So we just set up the 32 stations for the remote I/O configuration, but if we're not using all 32 stations, and maybe we only have 20 machines that we're going to, we can actually go to and limit the number of stations through this value, and we can go ahead and limit it to the 20 stations for our pulsing side of the system. And similarly, on the QSC, if we know that we only have a 4 material source, what we talked about before, we can go ahead and assign it to that 4, and that allows the system to run optimally to be able to, most expeditiously, like I said, to be able to proof those stations and sources.
Nice. So now that we've gone through the setup procedure for the Auto ID Plus, If you have any additional questions, please reach out to your local sales representative, our internal sales reps, or even visit our website at www.novatec.com for more information, data sheets, and even manual instruction with the FX3. Thanks for watching.